Maranatha, my PBC family and friends. Pastor Brian here with another quick bite, living the Word. Today our words are going to come from Psalm 139, and when you get there, I want to pick up verse 7. It's a passage you've heard before. We'll read down through verse 12, but I want to come back and talk about this after we read it. It says, "Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning, and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even in the night shall be the light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee." Now, oftentimes when we read this passage, when people speak about this passage, they talk about how can we hide from God. That's what we always say. You can't hide from God, right? But normally when we think about that, we're talking about in a negative sense. Like we've done something wrong or we're trying to hide something from God. You can't hide something from God. Well, that's an appropriate application, don't get me wrong. But do you know what it's actually talking about in this psalm? Back up with me if you would now, to verse, let's just pick it up. Let's just start at verse 1 and read down verse 7. It says, "O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down sitting and my uprising. Thou understandest that my thought I thought far off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thy hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain unto it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit?" See, what the psalmist is actually talking about here, yes, there's definitely a negative application of we can't hide from God. He knows all of our ways. He knows everything like this. But there's also a very positive application for this. Listen to what he actually says there in verse 5. "Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me." In other words, he's saying, you are with me. Wherever I go, you're with me, Lord. You've set your hand upon me. You set my path both before and behind and before. I mean, you knew what was going to happen, and you've taken care of me. You've helped me. You've put your hand upon me. This is such a wonderful thought to me. This is what he says. Such knowledge is too wonderful. Just the very thought of the fact, God, that you are always with me is just way beyond my understanding and really too wonderful for me. It is too high. I can't attain unto it. I can't really wrap my head around that. Now, of course, we can always look at this and go, okay, you can't hide your sin from God. You can't hide your problems from God. You can't hide things from God. But we can also look at this in the positive. You are never hidden from God. You are never away from where God can't see you. You are never out of his sight. He always has his hand upon you if you're his child. So we should take comfort in that, because it doesn't mean we should walk in the dark places going, oh, God's with me. But what it means is that if for some reason we find ourselves in darkness, God is still present. And he can still take us upon his, as he would a shepherd of a lamb, upon his shoulders and carry us out. He is with us. So just remember our God, how great our God is, and how highly and how wonderfully his thoughts towards you are. So just keep that in mind today and be encouraged that God is with you. I love you. We love you. God loves you. And God's got this.